Hey yo guys, how is it going? Tally here, and today we are going to take a look at Pendulum Magicians, which is still, it's tied with Heroes as what must be my favourite deck ever. This deck is going to be insane in the coming formats because it has an out to two of the free big New World Premier cards, and, yeah, Dimension Shifters kind of hurts it a lot, but no one's really going to be using it because it hurts them just as equally. So the World Premier cards do not actually impact this deck. They aren't summoning a big ass rock on your field. They aren't negating everything because you can actually out all of that with the greatest of ease. Okay guys, so we're going to have a quick look at the main deck to start us off with. First of all, we start off with free Best Skittle Harmonizing Magician. Harmonizing Magician is in fact still a good card. It always will be. Gets you a magician from your deck, so it's always a rank 4 when you pendulum summon it. It's always a synchro 8 when you pendulum summon it, and it's just amazing, right? The harmonizing truly is best Skittle. And then we move on to our next best Skittle, Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, right? Absolute heart and soul of the deck because this gets your guard dragon plays going. This is an Electromite turbo card. This is just amazing, right? It's a +1. Like, if you normal summon it's a +1, if you dump it it's a +1. It is just such a good card. If you ditch it off a Pendulum Call, you actually just won the game because you've set up a whole full board full of negates. You can fully abuse Electromite, and you can probably set up Zephyr plays as well because you've got all of your magicians and all of your dragon components. So yeah, absolute mandatory to run it free. Probably better that you get the secrets as well because it looks goddamn sick. However, if you can't get a hold of the secrets, I have heard the common works just as well. For a Darkworm target, we just run 1 gate 0. It's a good low scale. It's a good level. It's a good level for if you want to use your rank 7 plays. I don't at the moment, but I will once the guard dragons get hit. But yeah, it's just a good card. You can pop it with Electromite under pen call. Get those pluses. Okay, next again, Chronograph Magician. One Time Gazer, the little brother. Again, this is just nuts, right? So it's a free spell counter for your servant, and it's a turbo monster as well. So again, this plus any normal summon, or this plus any other turbo card gets you right into Electromite. This actually isn't a bad card in and of itself. Like, people don't actually know what this card does because it's never actually used. But each turn, the first card in your pendulum scale that would be destroyed by opponent's card effect is not destroyed. Okay, so if your opponent tries to deal with any sort of scale nonsense, if they try and get rid of your scales, if you've got Time Gazer on field, it actually gets rid of that, so it's a really good card when you're forced to go second. Okay, but yeah, again, absolutely mandatory. This was getting expensive, but it's literally just been reprinted in Super, so if you were struggling to get it then, you'll be laughing now because it's going to be a lot cheaper. Again, I don't know what Servant is, I'm pretty sure it's a Giddo. Another best Giddo. Free Servant, again, absolutely mandatory. The deck is so good at generating spell counters that this plus a couple of spell counters plus any other, this plus 2 spells, if one of them is Dragon Shrine, then you get Dark Law, not Dark Law. I just also recorded a hero video tonight. You get Darkworm on field, then you scale 0, then you use whatever other spell you had, for literally anything. Summon this, summon Jackal, protect your Electromite from hand traps. This card is just nuts. This card is the best card in the deck, which is why we run 6 copies of it. Okay. And actually, you can, if it's got a spell counter, I'm pretty sure you can attack directly with it, which is kind of nifty in time. But the deck OTK is absolute nuts, so no real need for it. For our other magicians, we run 2 Black Fang, 2 Purple Poison, 1 Oath Dragon. Sorry, I've got I think it's the Italian version. Yeah, Mago Bobo Dragon. So totally forgot its actual name. And 1 Dragon Pit Magician, and as well the best magician extender, Dragon Collar Magician. Okay. This means that you don't actually need Darkworm or any other dragon to make your guard dragon combo pop off. Okay, so this revives dark spellcasters when it's destroyed. This pops stuff when it's destroyed. You could cut this down to 1 if you want. I like 2. This in scale turns stuff into a dragon. This will pop back row if you have another magician in scale and you discard a pendulum monster. And if you have another magician in scale, this will allow you to grab a magician from your extra deck to your hand, which pretty much means it's harmonizing magician you're grabbing. Okay, but this card is amazing, right? This is a mandatory that you've got to run this card. If you don't, you're in fact doing yourself a disservice. Okay, so again, it's a good scale as well. It's 2, it's a good low scale. You can turn anything into a dragon. So if you've got like Time Gazer, no access to dragons, but you've got this in scale, then you use this, turn it into a dragon, and then just pop off with your Dark Worm, not Dark Worm, your Guard Dragon plays. Okay, for our Zephyr engine, we have 1 Zephyrath, 1 Zephyr EU, and 1 Ritual Tamer Beast Zephyr Wendy. So with Zephyrath, you want to set it in your scale to send Zephyr EU, okay, so that it becomes a scale 7, and it sets up Zephyr EU to then grab you more cards to extend and set up negates. We also run Zephyr Wendy, just as a backup in case we happen to hard draw Zephyr EU. We can still send Zephyr Wendy with Zephyrath, making it a scale 7, allowing you to be more flexible with your Pendulum summon. Because this is level 6, so you always want to be Pendulum summoning this to set up your extra negates. Okay, because when this is normal or specials, I'm pretty sure, what is it? When this card is Pendulum summoned or when it is destroyed by battle or card effect, that's the one. It's the other Zephyrs that do things when they're normal summoned. Yeah, so when this is Pendulum summoned or or destroyed by battle or card effect, you can grab a Zephyr spell or trap card. Okay, so you can just go ahead and grab Zephyr Divine Strike, but we also have some deck thinning and spell counter generation with this card in the form of Zephyr Providence. Okay, so it's absolutely mandatory that you run this, especially with Dark Ruler No More, the spell that negates all monster effects. Okay, if you weren't running this before, it's absolutely mandatory that you do now. Again, just to help us turbo out Electromite, we run 2 Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. Right, so again, set this in scale, control no monsters, special summon it. It does conflict with Dark Worm, but it does actually help you get out your Servant. Okay, worst case scenario, you open with this and Dragon Shrine, you dump Dark Worm with Dragon Shrine, and just normal summon this. Again, it's got a good scale if you're that desperate, 7. It's got a good level as well to set up your rank 4 or Synchro 8 plays. Most likely rank 4, now that I think about it. Okay, but again, this is a really good card. If I had free, I would run it at free because the deck is big enough that I can afford that extra card in there. Okay, but 2 is still a really good number for it. Then we have our Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. You can run either of the Luster Pendulums, okay? It's just a case where I don't have the other one and I cannot be bothered spending near enough £10 to get it. And I like this because it doesn't actually have the restriction that the other Luster Pendulum does, but it cannot be used for Xyz, Synchro, or Fusion material for anything that's not a Draco Slayer. Okay, again, so it's level 4. It's a dragon, so it sets up your Guard Dragon plays, and it makes Ignister just that little bit better than Ignister was before, which, by the way, was in fact amazing. Then for our targets for Servant, we have Jackal, which is pretty much, if I don't know what I'm going up against, I always want Jackal. Okay, it's just better because it stops a lot of hand traps. It stops Effect Veiler, it stops Ghost Ogre on your Electromite, which is the most important part of the play. So Jackal's just amazing. Endymion, lots of good things about it. Good level, good scale, amazing effect. Okay, pretty much if it's got a spell counter on it, you can just bounce it back to hand to negate a spell and trap card. So again, like, it's underrated. Don't use it too much, just because Jackal is so good against a lot more, but this card's amazing, right? If you are stuck with this card, or if you've like hard drawn Jackal and you have to summon this off of Servant, like, I wouldn't be too disappointed. Okay, then for some of our Guard Dragon targets, we have Aether, the Evil Empowering Dragon, and Destrudo. Right, we know what Destrudo do. It make a Synchro 7. It can be a Guard Dragon. It can do literally whatever you want it to. And this, when it's special summoned, will banish something. So you summon it off of Hieratic Sphere, or Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, and just deal with 2 of your opponent's monsters really easily. Okay, so that's our monster count, right? I think this deck is at its peak performance. There's a lot of turbo cards, there's a lot of good spell counter generating cards. They work with the deck, right? Again, it does a really good job at setting up all of your plays. It's not too bloated, it's got all the right extenders, it's got all the right cards in all the right places. I think that part of the main deck's perfect. So moving on to the next part, we're going to run free Pendulum Call because this card is nuts. Okay, protects your scales if you've got magicians in them. It lets you search out any two magicians. Okay, again sets up your guard dragon plays if you get dragon collar. You always grab and harmonise magicians, so like as long as you've got a high scale, then you win the game. It allows you to fix your hand because you start off with a low scale, then you can grab a high scale or vice versa, and then you can also grab harmonised magician, which means you're always getting at least one negate if you're able to do any sort of link climbing at all. So Pendulum Call, absolute must. Again, if you open this plus Darkworm, you've just won the game. Okay, no exaggeration. Another best card, right, another amazing card. 3 extra copies of Servant of Endymion. So Spell Power Mastery lets you search out one Endymion card, and then once that's done, it lets you place spell counters on any card that can take a spell counter. Right, so if you open this plus Servant, Servant now has 2 spell counters immediately without you actually doing anything other than searching out Big Endymion or another Servant. But Big Endymion's just scales, right? So again, like this card is absolute must. It's amazing. Just a really big consistency boost. Okay, speaking of consistency, we want to run some spells for our Servant. We want to be able to search Pen Call. So this is Pen Call 4 and 5. Okay, if you've got anything in your scale, i.e. literally anything, Servant, Abyss Actor, Chronograph, Dragon Collar, like you can just put them in your scale, then use Duelist Alliance to search out Pendulum Call. Fun fact, I actually didn't know this until recently. I can't even remember where I've seen it. But because, like this, I'm so late to the party here, but because this has Pendulum in its name, like Duelist Alliance actually searches that as well. So this card helps with your guard dragon plays. That's so dumb. Oh, it's amazing. Okay, in fact, am I right here? Yeah, you can add one Pendulum monster, and Luster Pendulum is in fact a Pendulum monster. Okay, then as part of our Zephyr package, we have 2 Zephyr Providence. Okay, Zephyr Providence is like it's such a good card to start with, because if you start with this in Servant, then you've got a free Servant, right, because this searches you out Oracle of Zephyr, which gets you Zephyrath. In fact, where is Oracle of Zephyr? There it is. Okay, so this is a 1 card free Servant. This, again, just helps you set up, if you need to, you can pop this with Electromite and set up your hand. Like, this part of the Zephyr package is just unreal for generating spell counters. And of course the Zephyr package is mandatory now, right? You cannot play without running the Zephyr package. For Darkworm and Destrudo to an extent, we've got 2 Shrine and 1 Foolish. Okay, just perfect ratio, always has been. Unless you're running 60 cards, this will be the perfect ratio for this. Okay, if you happen to open 2 of these, you can just dump 2 different Darkworms, or you can dump Darkworm and Destrudo. They're always just good cards, right? And again, they generate spell counters for absolutely no cost whatsoever. And then the last card in the deck, we're going to go with Zephyr Divine Strike. Banish a Zephyr from your extra deck, or face-up extra deck. Negate and destroy? Negate and destroy, yeah. Okay, negate and destroy pretty much anything. Spell, traps, monsters. So this does, in fact, screw over Dark Ruler no more, which is why this is mandatory. So that is the main deck, guys. I believe the main deck's somewhere in the region of about 44-ish cards, give or take 1 or 2. I haven't actually, I probably should have counted. But again, consistency is really great with it. So let's head over to the extra deck. Okay, now moving on to the extra deck, we've of course got to play Electromite, right? It's a Pendulum deck. Electromite is absolutely mandatory. It's the best Pendulum support card in the last few years, I think. Maybe Servant of it, like I've got such an obsession with that card, Servant of Endymion. Maybe it's kind of rivals this, but yeah, Electromite's absolutely mandatory. You would run more than 1 if you were allowed to, but you can't because it's limited, because it's that good. Okay, so that's our first Link 2. For our second Link 2, we have Psyframe Lambda, because this deck can actually use this card's effect, and it's just a generic Link 2. Again, sometimes you want that backup play, that security. Maybe you've got the absolute nuts and don't want to waste your Electromite on the potential Ghost Ogre. So we use Psyframe Lambda. Okay, it's just a really good generic Link 2. It has the right zones open, lets you do your Guard Dragon plays. It is in fact just amazing. And again, you can, this deck, like I run Omega and I side in the Gammas so that I can actually set up with this card, rip a card out my opponent's hand and set up a negate at the same time, because that is saucy, right? That's super saucy. Then for our Guard Dragon package we have Elpe, Agripane, Triple Burst Dragon, and Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, excuse me. So again, this summons a dragon from deck. This is pretty much there for the arrows. This summons Outer Vortex when it looks like this. And this is 2 interruptions on your opponent's turn. So if they summon 2 good monsters, tribute this, bounce one of them, summon A for the Evil Empowering Dragon, banish one of them. Okay, this actually does have an effect, but it never gets used. I don't think I've ever used it. I don't think I've ever seen any of my friends use it. But if have a quick read. In fact, let's see what it does. Especially because it's just come out in the Rocket Structure deck, so it's really, really readily available. So once per turn, during the damage step, when a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, you can negate the activation. That's actually... Why is that only during the damage step? That's actually a really good effect. It's a shame that it's got to be during the damage step. So that's our Guard Dragon package. That's our Link 2s. Moving on to our Link 4s. Appaloosa and Borreload Dragon. Right, Appaloosa, I'm playing this pretty much just as a kind of plan B. This card is nuts, right? It has multiple negates just off the back of being summoned. And Borreload Dragon, of course, helps you get around some of the more problematic monsters, where instead of actually dealing with them and confronting your problems head on, you just steal them and then abuse your opponent with them. But Appaloosa, this card's going to be nuts when the Guard Dragons get hit, if the Guard Dragons get hit, because this is just 3 negates, right? And you can use your Zephyra package to set this up, plus the counter trap for Dark Ruler no more. But again, really good cards. This, I think it's settled at a good price of around 30-ish, 40-ish pounds. Not sure what that is in dollars, but I would pick it up now, because it's one of those cards I expect to get more expensive. But I don't know what I'm talking about, so I might be full of rubbish. So that's all of our Link monsters. Now we're going to move on to our Synchros. Okay, so let's go through. This deck makes level 8s like absolute no one's business. And of course, because you're under Strudel, you've got Dawn Dragster for pretty much free. So you've got Dawn Dragster, which negates spell and trap cards. Ignister Prominence, which breaks boards by destroying a Pendulum monster and shuffling a monster or card. Yeah. So non-targeting, non-destruction removal. And it summons out Luster Pendulum, so it does actually get your Guard Dragon plays going if you're forced to. Like, this has saved me so many times. Again, it doesn't even minus because it can feel its own effect. Summon Luster Pendulum, then destroy it and shuffle something back into your opponent's deck. This card is nuts, and it looks so good in ulti. Psyframe Lord Omega, again, because this deck can actually use Gamma, especially going into Game 3. So you make this, you banish it, banish a card from your opponent's hand. Lambda will then search you a Gamma in the end phase, and then you can use Gamma to negate an effect during your opponent's turn. Okay, Borreload Savage Dragon is in fact the best Synchro 8 in the game right now. Undoubtedly, it's the most generic and it's just the best in the game, like no doubt at all. And pretty much, again, you want to be summoning this towards the end of your big old combo so that you've got some good Link monsters in the graveyard to give it some negates and give it some attack. And like, this card is never coming out of this extra deck, because why wouldn't you want to summon Raigeki? If you want, you can actually kind of like add Shooting Riser Dragon instead of like maybe Omega if you don't want to run Lambda. But yeah, you can make like Shooting Riser Dragon and summon this during your opponent's turn, because all it needs is one tuner, right? So any tuner at all, plus one non-tuner Dark Pendulum monsters. So again, once you've got Shooting Riser on field, it's so easy to actually get this on board. So that's our Synchro package. And then for our one-offs, we have one Vortex Dragon that you summon off of Agripane. Best negate for the deck, like some people choose to run Hot Red. Odd Eyes Vortex is just better. And Abyss Dweller, which is a total blowout against lots of graveyard-related decks. And funnily enough, lots of decks use and want to use their graveyard these days. So these cards are just absolute win conditions. You know, you can set up consistently this plus this, or this plus Borreload Savage with an extra negate, possibly extra 2 negates, so like your opponent just cannot play through that. So Abyss Dweller, amazing. Vortex, amazing. Every other card in this extra deck, amazing. So let's round it off here, guys. Okay guys, as usual, if you liked it, give it a like. If you loved it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about Team Tally today. Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon would in fact like you very much to do that. As always guys, you have been beyond fantastic. I've been Tally. I'll catch you all later.